Yeah. I think so for those of us who are, as I said, massive fans of Troop and knowing the style and the energy that you guys brought, it was very disappointing after, as I said, for a lot of New Jack's fans, Deeper is their favorite album. Deeper was the album that's like, okay, it's going to take you guys to another level. It wasn't
Yeah.
promoted by Atlantic. And, talking to John in the past, he spoke about the conflicts between management and the label. And we understand how labels are not to be played with. You can't, unless you're, even Michael Jackson found out when he went after Tony Mottola that, yeah, no matter how big you are, even the biggest can be knocked down. So we're learning that. I mean, how powerful labels are and how they can disrail your career, no matter how good an album is. But those are learning experiences. I mean, most artists can learn now, but back then there weren't too many examples for you to follow. And it's easy to say, do you guys regret the decisions you made? Because, well, hindsight is hindsight. You can look back and say, "Oh man, if we had known," but at the time, you wouldn't have done that. Even Jodeci, when they went to Death Row with Suge Knight to manage them, they never came out to something else after the show and the after party. That was
Yeah.
it. They might have gone better out of
Yeah.
their Uptown contract, but they didn't come up with anything anymore because the labels are saying, "Oh, we'll show you who's really in control." Um, I think the sad part for us is the fact that you come up with one of your best albums and that becomes the end of that becomes sort of the end of Troop as we know it at a time when R&B had a comeback. You had Boys to Men, we had Jodeci, so around that
Hmm.
92,
Yeah.
dominating the charts. So we had the singing groups really, really making a comeback, and we didn't see you guys in that time. Um, After the Deep album, how did you recognize that? Okay, we this might be the beginning of the end.
No, 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 I didn't feel like that because I felt like once you prove yourself, you always get another chance to prove yourself. I always believed in that. I don't care if it's between 4 years and 20 years. I think you always have a chance to prove yourself again. So I never felt like it was over. I felt like for that moment, what we were doing was over, but I didn't feel like overall the group was just totally done. No shows, no nothing. No, I didn't feel like that, man. I feel like once you prove yourself, you'll get another chance to prove yourself again. You will, and I believe that. I believe that all the way to the day. Yes, I do. That's
Mhm.
my belief, though. Somebody else might think different.
Yeah,
That's how I think.
but then and I've had Dimitri's on the show. Um, really, really amazing guy. But then I think the sole subject becomes you do one of as a the Deep album becoming a masterpiece for music fans, and then we see Troop -2 or -3 in with a new group with a
Yes.
called Little Something Something, and it was like almost like Troop became H-Town overnight, and rebranded and
Yep.
regrouped. I mean, so how did I mean? And this is just 2 years after Deeper, so it's not as if it was a 6-year gap. It, and being
Right.
the founder of the group, I mean, how did you? I wouldn't say did you let things go out of control, but how bad was that whole breakup from Atlantic that it affected the bond of these brothers at that time?
Well, I'll speak for myself again, but I didn't like the situation with Busted. I didn't like it. I didn't like nothing about it. I respect them, and I don't want to act like I'm hating anyone, but I'm going to tell the truth. I didn't like the situation. I didn't like the way they was treating us. Certain members was treated less than other members, and a lot of times they would just the songs would be done just without some of us on them. The songs would just be done, and it became like, well, okay, well, I ain't going to the studio because I'm not really comfortable. I don't know which direction to go with this whole thing. I'm not comfortable. I'm not really happy. And other members be like, well, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna do this, and I get that, I understand that. And it just came a point to where I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like nothing about Busted. The area, the whole, just every. I didn't like it, so I went home. I left, and I went home, man. And I get this that if somebody goes home, more than likely you're gonna do an album and finish it. I get that. I'm not. I'm okay with that. But the way it was presented was like the album was going to still be truth. It was not told to. It was not told to me that we're going to do an album with three members. It was never told. It was never ever told until it came out and when I saw it. So I know they had to finish an album. I get that they had to finish, but it just all started getting messed up with just being somewhere where we shouldn't have never been. We shouldn't have never been there, never. And that's why the album was made with three. That's why we went to Busted. That's why it took a long time to come out with different things because we should have never been there. We went somewhere we should have never went, and that's what messed everything up.
Yeah. Um, but and as I said, and I had to always caveat that because we started off by saying you start off by saying you entered a dance competition without your mum auditioned, you sent you for an audition. So this started with just as kids just having fun, and then it, you're in the shock of the music industry, the belly of the music industry, and it's known for chewing people up, spitting, divide, conquer. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay, okay.
They don't understand what Jonas' voice meant in all spirits.